planning board meeting to order. And members of the planning board present are Joe Zagrodnik, Jim Maximowski, Mark Dunn, William Dwyer, and Matt Waldrop. Mr. Dwyer, who's up first up for general information?
First in line is Jim Carlin.
How you doing?
Good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So last meeting we were talking about the new signage for Town Place Suites. And then I did some research on what was on the building prior to this and how much square footage it was compared to what they're asking for illuminated signage. I don't know, can someone share that email I sent to you, or?
I am not set up for sharing on this computer.
Okay. I'm on my phone, so I don't know how to share from my phone. Is there an easy way to do it, or?
What's the location, Jim?
I'll see if I can bring something up. I'm on a slow computer at home, so
It's 237 Russell Street.
What's the site again, by name?
It's Town Place Suites by Marriott.
Okay,
It used to be a Roadway Inn.
right on. Okay.
Um,
Now I know where you're coming from. Okay.
we discussed the pylon sign last time. It was taken down because of the road was pushed back. They had 48 square feet and they're going for 25 square feet now. And then you asked about what they had on the building, and I did not know that then, but I do know now.
Okay, pushing it back, how many feet back from the property line or the state highway property line is it?
Where it's gonna go?
Yes,
15 feet away.
15.
Jim, could you or Mark, what he sent us is in the email that I forwarded to everyone. Could you or Jim or Mark try to bring it up? I'm just not getting into my planning board email.
Which day was that?
Mark, it's the same one you sent me a question on it earlier today.
Oh, that was the town of Granby?
No, there was a second one.
Oh, right. I got Skinny Pancake.
Do you guys know the date the email was forwarded? I could look it up.
Probably the day it was sent. Do you remember?
All right, here it is.
Yeah, I sent it Tuesday, September 10th.
So I probably forwarded it within a couple of days after that.
Yeah. Now that I just have to jump it from one account to my other account. So it should come in shortly and then I can open it up. For some reason, my planning board Gmail got knocked off of my home Mac. All right, here it is.
Yeah, and I'm just not able to open up my Outlook in
Right.
Firefox tonight.
Yeah. So there's. Let me see if I can get this to. This one. I'm going to open up the files so that they're there when I go to. Still downloading the wall sign and the. Okay, so let me see if I can share. In the share option. Here we go. Share. There's the screen.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
There we go. So that pre-existing roadway sign was
Yep.
on the building,
Yeah, yes,
and that was internally lit. Is that what we're?
yes. And it was actually, that building was really close to the road. And now they are pretty far set back, so,
Pretty far, but, well, the question is, are we gonna move it back to what the bylaw says, or are we gonna have to make some concessions because of the construction on Route 9?
Well, which one are we talking about, first of all? The wall signs? If you want to be internally illuminated, you can have as much wall signage as you previously had internally illuminated. We do not have anything in the bylaw to make allowance for proportional distance from the highway.
okay,
So it looks like you have a 12 square foot, give or take a few
It's
inches.
12 by 1.5, so that's 18, and then there's 16, so that's 34 square feet.
correct.
So you can have, was it 64 square feet of signage, but you can't have more than 28 square feet of illuminated signage.
Okay.
Or yeah, whatever that works out to, 34, I guess.
Yeah.
So that's for wall signage.
Correct.
Right.
That's what we're talking about?
And then there was a pylon sign also.
I thought that was the one we're originally talking about, is 15 feet setback from the property line.
Isn't that within the requirements, Doc? I thought that was within the requirements, a 15-foot setback from the front yard.
Yeah,
15 or,
For a sign, yes.
okay,
Jim, can you scroll down in the email to see the other images that they?
It's the roadside sign.
Yeah, that's the pylon. Oh. 48 square feet, is that what that is?
Yes, that's 48 square feet.
And they had. Oh, that's what they had. They had 48 and 34 on the building. And if you scroll down further, do we see what they're proposing?
You think that is what they're proposing?
no, that was the old stuff.
No, it's the new one would be the town place suites.
Yeah,
I thought that's the old roadway.
Yeah. I think it's more, I think the new one's more horizontal, as I recall.
Yeah, the new one is a quantity of one sign on the building at 37 square feet and one road sign at only 25 square feet.
The road sign.
We're still seeing roadway.
Can you see it?
We're still seeing the old roadway.
So. I got two computers. I got a Mac or an Apple, and then I got my regular, what you call it, IBM compatible, and I'm not used to the Mac, so.
Yeah. I've got the other two, but they're, I'd have to figure out how to turn them. They're 90 degrees.
Okay, now can you see the roadway sign? I mean, the town place sign?
Yeah.
You
Yep.
see, you see the town place road sign?
Yep.
Yep. And that's 5 foot by 5 foot.
If you guys want, I was able to turn the PDF. I can share my screen if you want. So it's easier to look at.
Mm.
It's the attachment that says wall sign PDF, right? Is that it?
Yeah.
This is the road sign.
Yeah. Yeah. Let me share my screen.
Yeah. I also have a Mac and it doesn't play as nicely with the PDFs as the,
Let's see here. There.
that's the building. Yep.
Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
What was the page you wanted to view?
There's another one. I think it's, what is it? Road sign.
Yeah, road sign PDF.
Okay, yep. Give me 1 second. I'll open that one. Okay. Is that it?
Yep. 5 by 5.
Oh, sorry. Hold on 1 second.
Mm.
One's internally illuminated at 25 square feet, correct, Jim? Carlin?
Yes,
Right.
And there's a note on it, setback from street 35 feet 6 inches.
no, that was when, the other street was there and we were taking photos for a survey and we put a stake in there. So
Okay.
they could do a little sketch and also a dig safe stake.
So can we just confirm how far back from the street you are?
15 feet,
15 feet.
15 feet from the right of way.
yes.
Does that show up on the plan?
Was the page 1 of this PDF.
If Matt can scroll up.
There you go.
This, yeah, oh, right, I remember this. This one, the site drawing ends at the right of way line instead of showing the highway work.
So kind of this is 15 foot.
Yeah, yeah. And the EO2, that's the site sign. It's on that little island.
Yes.
Alright.
How big is the building sign proposed to be, Jim?
36.8 or 37 square feet. We'll round.
Okay, that's fine, yeah.
So you had illumination of 34 square feet, correct? Is it my,
Yes,
okay. So you have to shrink it
3 square feet.
3 square feet.
Okay.
Or you can go bigger if you want to not be internally illuminated.
Okay, I will let them know that, but there's really not much room to go bigger on that peak, you know?
Okay,
It kind of looks proportionally right to me, but I'm not a customer. I'm just the middleman.
You know, where's that elevation? That's back in the wall sign. I don't know if you can jump to that one, Matt. The other tab. Yeah. We can scroll up to the, so is
They
it,
do-
is that below the roof line? It's like it might be too high.
well, there is a roof there.
Oh, all right, so it's not just above,
That's peak, that is a peak roof.
okay.
Yeah, it's like an attic.
So it's not that it has to be below the eaves, it just has to be below the top of the roof, okay?
Now, you guys wouldn't give 3 square feet because we gave a bunch of square feet away on the road sign, or?
We don't have that authority.
Okay. All right, so I will go back and give them some new sizes.
Okay. You know where to find us.
2 weeks.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right, thank you guys for all your help and sharing that stuff, and because I have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
Let me just check one thing. Yeah, 2 weeks. That's right.
Yeah, that's the first, right?
Next month's a 5 Tuesday month, so we will only be meeting twice, even though there are 5 Tuesdays.
Okay, so October 1st.
Yes.
Yes.
All Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next up was Keith Terry. Are you here for the public hearing or?
Yes, I've got the public hearing,
Okay,
review the application of the Safi properties.
all right, then you're on the agenda, so we'll move on with office hours. Amy Jones,
I'm just sitting in for Dave's Hot Chicken.
Yeah. I gonna me and Amy will tag team this one if that's okay.
okay, well, let's see, who else is up? Brian, you're up for Dave's as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, Amy's on the list next, so you're all up.
Awesome. Good to see you guys again. Here to present, we got Dave's Hot Chicken's drive-through menu package. I'd like to present that and share my screen if that's okay.
Go ahead.
Everyone see.
Yeah.
So it's just going to be 2 units. If you can see my cursor, MB1, which will be the menu boards, and then DS1 right at the entrance for a directional signage. First, they have presented the menu board. This one is a non-illuminated menu board. We were going to ask for permission to add goosenecks similar to our pylon signs for the illumination at night. Would that be acceptable?
Yes.
Now, just to throw it out there, could it be interior illuminated if accepted by the town bylaws? We just assume now moving forward, we may not do anything illuminated. I'm just going to ask the question if that's okay.
When you say a non-illuminated menu board, let's explore what you mean by that. What is not illuminated?
The actual menus itself. You normally get the clear plexi with lights in the back to, illuminate the menus at night. Kind of you see that typical at Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's and Burger King. For most all these packages though, we've kind of just wanted to present everything non-illuminated at first to see. And this would we were presenting to match with the goosenecks, but just wanted to throw that out there if an illuminated side would be accepted. If not, we're going to go with our plan with the goosenecks.
Now, the actual menu itself could be illuminated. However, the signage cannot be illuminated. So the two, like you've got the Dave's Hot Chicken there, that can't be illuminated.
Yeah, no, that's just a placeholder. I don't think there's even going to be a chicken head logo. It's just going to be the menu.
The menu can be internally illuminated. We have that various other places. Okay. As long as there's no logos, I mean, obviously have some kind of a sign there, but as far as long as it's not an actual sign, but more just a menu board, then it can be internally illuminated. Does the board agree with that?
In general, yes. Can we just go back to the location though? I want to see how it's oriented. So which one is?
MB1.
MB1. It's going to be located.
How is it going to be facing? Towards South Maple Street?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so traffic comes around the curve and they place their order there and they pick up the order at the window.
Yeah.
So they're stopping, so they're stopping basically where that arrow is.
Correct.
And so the board is parallel with South
The
Maple.
only thing about the internally illuminated board, it can't be too bright that it infringes on the traffic on South Maple Street.
Noted. Yeah, no.
Because you're facing South Maple Street and because you're not far from there, you're probably you're maybe 30 feet off of the street. It's going to have to be very dimly illuminated.
Okay.
I would say
That's
I mean, if you were to turn the sign, go back to that layout. If you were to turn the sign so that it was basically on that little green space and parallel with or perpendicular to South Maple Street, then you may not be as much of a problem. But I'm not going to tell you how to run your business. I'm just talking about lighting infringing on the traffic street. Right.
gotcha. So maybe if it was more parallel with the building,
Right.
it could be brightened up a little more.
yeah,
That's what I'm guessing. Yeah.
if you had it with the menu facing north at that location,
Right. Yeah. Like you said, then parallel to the building.
Okay. Honestly, that we would probably make those adjustments as well. That might even have help with the flow. But either way, you guys are okay if we go with a internally illuminated sign for just the menu boards, no logos.
Yes.
Great. And then the other side is directional. As we enter the complex, DS1.
okay, we approved some directional signs for you already the last time you came through. So I don't have to have that package handy, but how does this differ from what you showed us a month ago?
Give me 1 second.
Is
It's
illumination, right? Or is it no illumination at all?
says non,
Yeah, non-illuminated. Can you guys see my screen?
yeah,
Yes.
and that's a 15 by 30 sign, 2 feet off the ground. It looks bigger, but it's actually not that big.
And then same thing too. We can take the chicken head logo off that as well.
You can leave the chicken head logo on it if you wanted.
You guys see my screen?
Yes.
This was the renderings that were approved. I'm gonna have to go back and look at my correspondence for the directional.
They were the same, Ryan. They weren't changed.
Okay.
Yeah, they weren't changed.
Yeah, but the point is, if you want to have the directional say drive-through, that's fine, but you don't get an extra directional at that location.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Only one directional, leading people into the drive-through.
And your cornice is rendered the way it's rendered, but it's actually a indirect.
So really, the only change we're adding today is the menu board.
Right.
Correct for the drive-through.
No question for the gentleman.
Make a motion to approve the menu board facing north.
Second.
Motion a second. Any other discussion?
Is that where we ended up, or are you considering north?
Are you okay with North, Mr. Little?
We are okay with north.
Okay, all right.
Okay. And internally lit. Yes. Okay.
Yes, sir.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
No.
Hearing none. All in favor? Roll call vote.
Gun eye.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Walter, bye.
Groden, aye.
Motion is unanimous and approved. Very good. Good luck. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Okay, let's see. Who's Bridget Shoemaker?
I'm representing Skinny Pancake this evening.
Representing who?
Skinny Pancake?
Okay.
I'm like, great person. And I can screen share if that is helpful.
Please do.
All right. Do you guys see it saying Skinny Pancake?
Exterior signage.
Okay, seriously. Fantastic. All right. So Skinny Pancake is a homegrown brand out of Montpelier, Vermont. So they are starting to expand into Massachusetts and New York. So the site that they are taking over in Hadley is to be a Moe's, and I do have the prior signage permits from Moe's as well. So the only item that was really of contention was the rear wall sign, only because Moe's did not ever install theirs. However, it was approved. So I can go ahead and show you. This is what the proposed facades would look like and pylon. So we're replacing, you had a Moe's sign here illuminated by gooseneck lighting. one was approved for the back doors, also illuminated with gooseneck lighting. And the two businesses that were on here, Moe's and another company, are no longer there. Skinny Pancake was given the rights by the landlord to take top billing. When it comes to dimensions, so for the front of the building, we were looking at 38 square feet. And in comparison, the Moe's sign was 37.64. If that's all right, if we round up to 38.
Well, you're allowed 40 square feet total, and you can have up to 4 building signs. So you let a 38 square foot in the front, so you're fine.
Okay, great. For the back of the building, we were looking at 22. So
You're allowed 40 square feet on a multi-tenant building. You can have.
so that's
up
probably why
to-
Moe's never put this one up then.
That, well, that's irrelevant. You are allowed 40 square feet total, so you can have up to 2 signs on a multi-tenant, I guess it is. And so you have 38, so you'd be allowed 2 square feet on the back of the building.
So if you wanted to do 30
If you
on
wanted to
on the
Put
back,
them up and,
Yeah.
however you would like to split up to get 40 square feet front and rear, it's up to you.
Okay. Well, we for sure will not want to reduce the front of the building, because it fits the facade very nicely.
Right.
If Skinny Pancake elected to go, is there a variance pursuant option to get the additional square footage that would be needed to just make the sign look appropriately sized on the building? This
The-
does face the shopping center, which is why, they really want to get their name out there since they're a new, small business area.
Yeah, there is on paper, but you don't have any grounds for asking for it. You don't have any hardship. It's unique to your property and not otherwise affecting similar properties in the district.
in other words, the appeals process won't just grant arbitrary and capricious. You have to prove hardship.
If I was able to present to the variance board and prove hardship, is that something that you all would be in agreement that this sign is appropriately sized for the building? I just want to get an idea of scale wise, if Skinny Pancake wanted to
If
pursue
you can
that.
show genuine hardship for your property, which I don't quite see it, but never say never, then the planning board would not stand in the way if you had genuine hardship. If you were just going for bigger signs, the planning board would come to the zoning board hearing and speak against the variance. Nothing against you, but we've done that to other businesses that we're just, the reason we say this is because the planning board has gone to town meeting twice in the last 15 years or so, requesting larger signs for buildings that are set back and so on and so forth. And town meeting has overwhelmingly said no to all of our requests for changes to the sign bylaw. So we are simply abiding by town's meeting wishes.
Completely understandable. Appreciate that.
So I don't think we have any objection to having the Skinny Pancake logo on the back door. We can consider that a directional sign.
The one up here or the ones right on the glass?
The one on the
Oh,
door.
nice.
One's on the glass.
On the glass. Okay.
So someone in the rear parking lot would be able to find their way in.
Good.
There's no interconnection between the mall and the parking lot at that location anyway. No official connection, I should say.
Yes, I see that. Yeah, there's some grass and some shrubs.
Yep.
There's a swale behind you that doesn't allow cars to get into your property from there.
And there's no sidewalk. There's like a busy, circumference route there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. And looking at traffic flow, like I said, I know that as a small business, they're just looking to market to the target customers. But you've got a nice divided highway here, so I think they can find some other opportunities as well. And I appreciate your honesty on the board. Okay, so then the only other item, like I said, we're replacing. Is it here? So this is what the freestanding sign used to look like. And then this is what it would look like with Skinny Pancake.
It's on the existing board. You're just taking up one of those spaces if you would, so that's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. 54 by 97, 97. So it's taking what was Hunt's. And that's all. Questions, concerns?
No, I think in this case, we're not going to nitpick about the extra verbiage on the front of the building either.
Oh, you mean in the window, the crate?
In the windows, the Love Local, perhaps coffee, burger, dessert. Yeah, technically it's advertising, but under the circumstances, I'm not going to worry about them. Just reach out and grab the eye.
Was there anything there under, Mo's?
There wasn't lettering with Mo's. Mo's
Okay.
had this lovely man that stood on the canopy, and they had this illuminated sign in the windows.
Oh, in the windows, okay.
So it's not really Skinny Pancake's vibe to be so brilliantly illuminated in bright red and orange. So they use browns and oranges.
I'll move to approve the pylon sign and the front facade sign.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Gun eye.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Waldrop, aye.
Robert, aye.
Motion passes unanimously, 5-0. Just out of curiosity, Bridget, what exactly does Skinny Pancake sell? What is their menu?
Grapes.
Great.
Is it pancakes?
Grapes.
What?
Grapes.
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 Okay, it's crepes. Okay.
Yeah.
There was,
So
yeah,
Skinny Pancakes are crepes are very, very thin pancakes. You'll definitely have to check it out once they open. They have a full selection of sweet and savory. I'm particular for their peanut butter and bacon one, which sounds weird, but it's really good.
Okay. Very good.
there was a
All right.
creperie in
Motion
Amherst.
passes. You're all
It's
set.
gone.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Have a good evening.
Good night. Yep, bye.
So let's see. Next in was Cyrus. He is here for the public hearing. Mary Campbell is here. Did you just want to see what's going on, or did you have any other questions?
I'm not sure. I passed in the address labels and my fee,
right.
and yeah, I just wanted to make sure to schedule.
Yeah, you're all
That's
set for
the-
the October
that's-
15th public hearing.
Oh, great. Okay,
Yeah,
just
the
wanted to
label
make sure.
today, the envelopes went out, everything went out in the mail, the new notices in the newspaper. You're all set.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's the home occupation.
Yes.
That's the 139 Mount Warner Road, the horse riding lessons.
Yep.
Right.
Hey, Bill, this is Tony Chuber. I had another signage question.
We're
I don't
working.
know if you got
We're working through the list. You're not.
perfect. All right. I just want to make sure I didn't get dropped off. Thank you.
No, nobody gets dropped off our list. We may be here till midnight, but nobody gets dropped off the list if you stay.
Hey, yeah, that's all right. Thank you, guys.
So next in was Mark Wagner. Anything to discuss with the planning board, Mark?
Bill, we talked earlier today. I'm just here to observe.
Okay.
Right.
Then I had, John Stephanitis, who I don't see here anymore.
He was with Dave's Hot Chicken, Bill.
Okay,
Oh, just for his information, the 0 point battery storage will be continued to up to November 19th at the request of the applicant. And because we haven't heard back from the Attorney General on the decision of our proposed zone bylaw yet from the Springtown meeting.
okay. The next in was a 978 area code phone number.
Bill, Tom Corbett. I just have a quick question in regard to the other application we have for subdivision.
Sure.
With stormwater, peer review, yes or no?
Yes, probably because you're applying for formal subdivision, and because of the slopes that you have, there probably should be a review of the stormwater.
I agree. That's why I was calling in to ask. I just want to get that over to somebody to do that. So that was my only question tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Bill.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, let me just catch up on my notes. Okay. Now we're at you, Tony.
Sorry for jumping the gun earlier. My apologies.
No problem.
So I was in a couple weeks ago. My son and I were in a couple weeks ago, seeking signage approval for a well, here, let me show for a Jersey Mike's location at I believe it's 355 Russell Street, currently a Sports Clips. So I have we have some better information here from our signage people. If I can figure out how to share this, I apologize. Okay, so this is the can you see this?
Yes.
So that's the rendering. This is the initial rendering. And I'll let you all read it through. It's a, painted white aluminum halo lit sign. It's going to be white backlit. And the sign is under the 40 square foot requirement. And I have some signs down of what the sign, I have some pictures of what the sign would look like down there. So let me know when you're ready for it.
Yep, we're ready.
Right. So this would be effectively what it would be during the daytime. Just a white sign, and meeting the requirements. And then this would be the evening look, being backlit, halo lit, which I'm not a sign expert, but I believe those are very, very equivalent. So this is exactly what we're going for.
That's like, and that is a permitted lighting system.
Okay. This is what, and our landlord has approved it. In fact, I think Mark might be on even right now, but it has been approved. But this is what we're pursuing.
We can go back to the first page. I just want to get the dimensions again.
Yep, there you go.
Or no, the 39.94.
Yep. Coming in right under where we need to be. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any other questions? Please let us know, but, we think we're where we need to be with these signs. So any other questions, please let me know.
Well, you should be fine.
I'll make a motion to approve as shown.
Second,
Motion and second. Any other discussions? Hearing none, all in favor, roll call vote,
Done, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Max Samaski, aye.
Waldrop, aye.
Zagrodnik, aye.
Motion passes 5-0. You're all set. Thank you.
Right. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your help.
Good luck.
Good luck
Thank
to
you.
I think for the 0 point, I would make a motion to approve the applicant's request for a continuation to November 19th.
Second,
Motion and second. Any other questions? All in favor, roll call vote,
done, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Max Samaski, aye.
Waldrop, aye.
Zagrodnik, aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Continue to the 19th of November. Okay. Next up is the application. I'll read the public here as the notice as it appeared in the Gazette. The Hadley Planning Board will conduct a Zoom public hearing on Tuesday, September 17th, 2024, beginning at 6:45 p.m. Purpose of the hearing is to review the application of Sapphire Properties LLC to construct approximately a 4,550 square foot building for use as a dentist office at 101 East Street to the corner of Russell Street and on the corner of Russell Street for special permits, site plan approval, and business use in aquifer. Published twice in the Gazette, August 16th and 23rd. And with that, Cyrus, or whoever is representing him, you are up.
I'm going to share my screen to show the project. I'm Keith Terry with Sherman & Frederick. And we're going to start with the existing conditions plan. Our project parcel is west of East Street and south of Russell Street. Presently, the property has a residential building on the northeast corner with a driveway coming in from East Street, and then it has associated lawn and trees. That is the existing property. The proposed project is to construct a dentist office, and the property will be accessed from East Street directly across from I believe it's Country Bank on the
ESB.
You can't have to say
Okay, I'm sorry, ESB. And so we're going to have some employee parking as you first enter. The people that are coming for teeth cleanings and such, they will travel past the building and park in the parking lot that is west of the proposed building. So we have a proposed building here in the center. Proposed building will have the client access on the west end of the building with a roof overhang, and the employee access will be this southeast corner, again with a roof overhang. We have minimal grade change, so the drainage, the way we treat drainage is going to be overlay and flow, low and impact development, and the drainage will collect out to the east edge, come around and along the north edge. That will be our drainage, our stormwater management. This project has been peer reviewed by Ty and Bond. Ty and Bond has reviewed our revisions to the project and have agreed that we meet the regulations of Town of Hadley and the Massachusetts Stormwater Plan standards.
Keith, if I can just interrupt,
Go ahead.
what is indicated by the grid pattern? Is that's the parking areas?
Those are the parking areas.
Okay.
So we have employee parking along the entrance and on the east of the building, and then the client parking is west of the building.
Okay. I just didn't know if you were doing some special pavement or.
Right. No, this is a standard hot mix asphalt. We have limited curbing so that the water can shed off off into the lawn areas. We have a rain garden here on the west end of this pavement, and then an infiltration trench along the north edge of the property along Russell Street. We do have, for heating, we'll have proposed underground propane tanks in this corner of the parking lot with suitable protection around it. And actually, we'll go to the utilities. The planned utilities will be, I'm sorry, that's not utilities. So this is the general grading of the project. You can see we have a high point here. There will be a directional sign to make sure the clients know to travel on to this parking area. But the water will shed into this lower area along Russell Street. The proposed dumpster is going to be here in the client's parking area. As I was going to demonstrate the utilities, we have a sewer connection into East Street. That's the proposed sewer connection. We have underground electric coming off the utility pole along Russell Street. And then we have the water main is running along our frontage. So we'll tap our water service from that water main. I believe that's the outline of the project. I'll open it up to the board.
Okay, how deep is that blue drainage area you talked about and along the front of Route 9?
Okay, so the sidewalk has a minimum elevation here on the west end of the property of 99 feet. And this area here is 98, elevation of 98. So the bottom of of that area is just a foot. I'm sorry, the sidewalk is on the other end of the project is at an elevation of 100. So we have 2 feet from the bottom of the catchment area up to the sidewalk on the east end of the project.
Okay, yeah, that's not bad.
No, it's very.
We had somebody propose a detention pond one time that was 9 foot below the roadway, and it was only about 12 feet away from the road. And I told them, no, that's a little bit too much.
Yeah, that sounds a little excessive.
Anyway,
Taco
okay.
Bell, right.
Now, you have frontage on 2 streets. We like to
Correct.
see parking setback 50 feet. Realizing you're on 2 streets, that's not reasonable to do on both sides. However, we would, how far are you? Your setback is only, looks like about 19 feet from East Street and about 20 feet from Route 9.
Yeah,
I believe that's correct. We have 19 feet from the corner of the pavement to our property line
did they
on
go
East
for,
Street.
excuse me, but did they go for variance to the zoning board of appeals?
They received a variance for building.
Okay, yeah, so that probably should be brought up in what was the relief and what was the proposed variance numbers?
I have no clue.
It's not to you, Jim, it's to the gentleman presenting it.
I'm sorry, I don't have those numbers.
So do we know who presented it to the zoning board of appeals?
We have Larry Tuttle with Architectural Insights. He was part of that.
Yeah,
He seems to be muted.
it's. I recall just the headlines in the paper said 37 feet versus 50 feet. Now, was that not with the building or was it with the parking?
That, they went for variance to my recollection for the building. And they were granted a variance for the building.
So, okay, what is the distance from the property line for the building?
This is Larry Tuttle speaking. When we went to the ZBA, we were asking for 37 feet from Russell Street, which
Okay.
is the variance from the 50-foot setback from any right of public way. And that was based on the widening of Russell and the context of buildings along Russell to be more uniform than sort of a sawtooth that was a result of the periodic widening of Russell. So we've made.
Excuse me, it's not to challenge you, it's just to know the parameters that
No,
we're operating under, because they made the dimensions clear to us so we can understand.
Right, we informally met with the planning board, your group, and presented the building placement, exactly what we have developed in detail. And at that time, it was questioned about the parking in front of the building, i.e. to the East Street side, and that we were told at that time that there was nothing in the zoning bylaws that prevented parking in front of the building within that 50-foot area. So we proceeded to develop the plan, but specifically, we went to the ZBA with the placement of the building, asking for relief along only Russell Street. We're 50 feet back from East Street.
50-foot setback. There is nothing against parking in the front yard. That is true.
Yeah.
50-foot setback is a number we like to see from the road. Seeing that you have frontage on two roads, obviously keeping 50 feet from both roads is very unreal. So that's understood. However, we would like to see 50 foot from one of the two roads or something close to it.
And that's what we understood to be the case, and we are 50 feet back from the East Street right away for the building. And we are uniform to the run of Russell Street, which we are in context with at the 37 feet, which the ZBA thought was appropriate.
And again, no building.
Yep, no.
I'm talking parking. You're 19 feet from East Street and 20 feet from Russell Street. We would like to see a greater separation than 19 feet. Probably choose I would say the East Street side, but at least one of the streets. To be farther set back. You're almost on East Street is what I'm saying. It very.
I can only speak to the building because that was what we were led to believe.
And we have no problem with the building. I'm now speaking parking.
Okay.
Okay. The building is set. You got a variance, you're all set, you're complying with whatever the ZBA requested. That's not the issue, it's the parking.
Okay.
Okay. You are squeezing a lot into a small parcel.
Yes.
It's a permitted use in a permitted zone. However, scale of property is a different thing. Just because you want to put up a big building, maybe your parcel won't support it. or you need less parking. I don't know.
Mhm.
I'm just making a comment that I see. I'm not designing. We
How
are,
does- What's the square footage of the building?
It's approximately that 4,500 square feet.
And your parking is
Parking is how much?
18,000 square feet.
whereas they only need
whoa,
9.
whoa. How much is your parking?
Pavement and walk is 18,218 square feet. That's the pavement and walk. Let me look at the,
So the parking is less than that.
yes.
You take the driveway out.
We don't have the area of the parking listed on the plan. I'm sorry, the parking area provided is 10,900 square feet. The additional pavement that we're reporting is the access drive and the
No,
walks.
okay, now, just let me explain on the parking, the way we calculate parking. If you have parking spaces, that's obviously parking. You have drive-throughs around your parking, like, let's take can you zoom into the left side of the building? Okay, good. All of that checkerboard area is considered parking.
Correct.
And all of the checkerboard to the right of the building and the checkerboard down below, and even some driving area in front of the parking of the four, 1, 2, 3, 4, there's actually 4 spaces there, okay. No, that would be considered parking. The only thing that wouldn't be considered parking is where you have HMA Drive, that's just a drive area. But everything else would be considered parking. So
So this is not considered parking.
the
Right.
HMA Drive, that's correct. But all of your checkered area, or whatever you call that, is considered parking area.
So
Yeah.
so I need to include this access area as parking.
No,
No.
that would be excluded.
Correct. All right.
But some above the floor, some north of the 4 spaces, there has to be some maneuvering. So part of the drive there
Right.
would be.
You could almost consider, if you drew a line from see where it says concrete walk?
Yeah.
Right there,
Yes.
to the left of your little cursor.
Yeah. So
If you
so
could
we're going to say
draw a line from there to the 4 spaces, and then from the little peninsula to the 4 spaces, and that's it. There and down, you could include that area as additional as parking, because those are all drive areas to access the parking areas. Okay.
right. So that's parking area.
Yeah, I would consider that parking area because that's accessing the parking area, yes. I don't know if you need all the parking area you include, that you have drawn. Do they put that in just because to meet the 2 for 1 parking area, or do they really think that they need that that much parking?
The parking has been provided for the amount of clients they anticipate in order to support the business.
Okay. So they feel that they need that many parking spaces. That's fine. Okay, so that's fine.
That's a one-story building?
This is a 1-story building.
How many dental operatories inside, do you know?
I'll let Larry answer that.
Thanks a lot. I've drawn it so many times and I have not counted those up at this point.
I'm sorry.
You did get copied with the plan,
So here we have the
plan.
Here we go. 1,
Is developed.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
7, 8.
7, 8, 9, 10 plus the bay. I don't know what that.
The bay is for 4 units.
Okay. So this is the floor plan of the building. And this is the patient entry. That would be the west end of the building. The staff entry would be the southeast end of the building.
And this is based on projections by the owner, the dentist, who has a practice presently that is just west of here. And the growth of his practice, he feels that this is a building that supports the current and initial projections of additional growth. The surplus that, or the area in question of the parking on the East Street is predominantly staff. It is staff parking, so that there is not any congestion or confusion with patient arrival and safe circulation through the site. So he was trying to keep the staff separate from the patient parking and entrance area.
So my concern, and I think we all have the concern, is not just, how big is the practice going to be? And right now, there are 12 dentists within walking distance of them on Route 9. That's a huge number, and anticipate this kind of success with all that kind of competition is fairly ambitious. But nevertheless, what we're talking about is the size of the building, the square footage of the building, and the parking needed. And Jim has been trying to lead you in the direction that perhaps you can eliminate some of the parking that is too close to the road on East Street and Route 9. That, Jim, I'm not speaking out of turn for you, am I?
I'm simply saying that the parking along East Street is too close to East Street.
Yep.
Granted, 20 feet on Route 9, we can live with the 20 feet on Route 9 because of the swale and the sidewalk and so on, and the taking the Route 9 did. However, nothing has changed on East Street to speak of, or if it has, it's changed very little, just a little bit. And it's just, I would like, you don't have to be 50 feet, but you got to be more than 19, is what I'm alluding to here.
So regrettably, that if to move that parking, it requires us, we can throw away 3 spaces down here, but to utilize this space requires us to be closer to East Street.
And again, I will go back to what I said before. You're a permitted use in a permitted zone. However, the scale of your use may not be appropriate for the size of the property you have. You're putting a big building with a lot of parking on a small parcel. You put a dentist office there, but maybe it's too much of a dentist office.
Is there any other, so obviously I have to speak to the client, determine what we can cram.
Again, like I said, I agree. 50 feet would be eliminating too much parking. However, can you pull it back to 30 feet? Can you reconfigure your parking and you may have to get rid of a few spaces. Can you pull it to 30 feet? Can you redesign your parking a little bit? Can you get 25? What can you get and get closer, get farther away than 19 feet?
If I may speak, this is Sivu Safizadeh. I'm one of the dentists in the office, and I totally understand the concern. I'm happy to meet with Larry and Keith to redesign this. In terms of why we are designing this office how we are, I understand there are many dentists in Hadley. However, they are all referring to us. We currently have 2 of only, I think, 5 pediatric dentists in the entire Western Mass region. This is including Berkshire County, which does not have a pediatric dentist that is accepting Medicaid. So we're getting, I would say weekly 50 to 100 patient visits just from Berkshire County. That doesn't include Franklin County, which only has 1 pediatric dentist, and Hamden, as well as Hampshire County. So that is why we are looking at this size building. And we are definitely trying to squeeze in parking here because we want the current spot that we are in is already having a slight parking issue. And then we have lots of little children. Our patients are as young as 1 year of age. So we want to just make it flow well for them. So I'm sure we can kind of go back to the drawing board where I understand the concern would be towards East Street, that parking lot where especially it gets tight, where there's that 19 feet there.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm going back to, I've said it twice. I'm not going to say it again. I'm not going to make myself keep repeating it. You've heard it. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, I mean, it's a business. As far as how many dentists you have there, that's your business decision. I'm not going to tell you how to run or even suggest anything about your business. That's your business. As far as how many dentists or otherwise, again, those are all your decisions, and it's irrelevant to the zoning here. So otherwise, you have a look at what's the building going to look like.
All right, so I can give you a
Actually, could we just stay on this one for a second? Because I do have a couple of questions. Mass DOT is going to all the trouble of putting in a multi-use sidewalk in front of the building. Is there any thought of connecting to it? You don't seem to have any pedestrian access here. And I imagine some of your patients will be arriving by bus because of
there's a bus stop right across the street.
It looks like their best chance would be at the northwest corner.
Yeah, I don't believe there. You have a couple of items here: proposed transition ramp on both sides of the driveway. But I don't believe there is a proposed sidewalk on East Street, is there?
There is a constructed sidewalk on East Street.
On East Street?
On East Street, they have constructed a sidewalk that we have to cut through to provide our entrance. So no, we don't have an internal sidewalk. We have a large access drive.
People are going to have to walk in the same driveway as the cars to get into your building?
Well, so the clients, the people that access the building were expected to park in this parking lot, and there's a sidewalk to the entrance. We can explore creating a sidewalk connection from Russell Street across to our.
You have bus stops at the northeast corner on both sides of Route 9. One from the corner of East Street and across the street there. I would think you'd want to put something other than having the people walk all the way down the sidewalk and down the driveway and in. Whereas if they could somehow get in much closer to the front of the building, it would be a whole lot more convenient. Otherwise, they're going to be walking where the cars are driving.
Yeah, I'm not telling you need to have pedestrian interconnection if you don't think you're going to have pedestrians, but I just think that it's maybe narrow.
Actually, Bill, it's a very appreciated point that I have overlooked. And yes, we are dedicated to providing care. As I said, the reason why we've had this kind of growth is because we are some of the only Medicaid providers. If you start calling around these dental offices in Hadley, you will find that they will not be able to see these children. So part of that demographic is requiring public transportation. And it's why I was very pleased to see that they have built such a nice sidewalk. So I would absolutely like to incorporate some sidewalk access here. I think that's a very good point that I just, given the scale of the project, it had not crossed my mind.
Okay. Good explanation. Thank you. What else there?
I think that was my thought.
Okay.
So
What would the building look like?
Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the elevations. I'm sorry. There we go. Here's the building elevations.
Okay.
So this north elevation, I'll zoom in. This is the face of the building that would be facing Russell Street. The south elevation, this would be the employee access. This is the elevation that the drive would pass by. The clients will enter the left end of the building. And then this is the east elevation. So this is, you're on East Street looking at the road, the building.
And
Russell Street would be to the right.
so that's the view from the employee parking.
Correct. This is the employee parking. And finally, this is the end of the building that the clients would see first. So they'd have their access into the building here. This is the west elevation.
Okay.
You have, it looks like you have a clear story upstairs. Is that for mechanical equipment or?
Yes, for the most part, it is. It's a higher space, but it is for some of the air exchange.
Well, that's nice that it's not out on a roof. I like that.
For the, obviously you're gonna have to come back to another meeting. For the next meeting, could you get an artist or a rendering of what the building will actually look like a 3D view from, say, from one of either the corner of East Street and Russell Street, or the Russell Street corner facing the regular entrance?
We actually had submitted some renderings.
Let me see if I can pull that up.
Oh, okay. That's even better.
Because that gives you a better sense of some of the coloring and so forth of the finishes.
We're not into signage yet, right? That's later down the line.
Cupola on the top.
I apologize. Hold on.
That's fine.
I found it here. I don't know if I'm able to share my screen.
Go ahead.
Let's see. It's a little hard to see which one.
Here.
Oh, you found it. Keith.
I've got it. It's just easier for me to share, I guess.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Here we go. All right.
Okay.
So
White building?
That's looking southeast, right?
That's fine.
So this is from Russell Street.
Yes.
And this would be the client access.
Actually, Bill, this, to my point, I was just kind of or your point, that sidewalk, I was assuming, that's an access point for people, but obviously on the site plan, it's not something that came to my mind.
That'd be a great location for your entrance, because it would steer people to your front door.
Yeah, I mean, I know you know the current location, but before there was the sidewalk, I've seen families, you know, mom with 3 kids coming with the stroller across all that grass and everything. It was tough.
Okay. So it'll be a white building like that?
Yes, that's the current plan.
Okay. Fine. Nice looking building.
Yeah.
This, Jim, is this aquifer protection area?
Yes.
X-ray solution,
No, all digital,
all digital.
no chemicals.
Yep.
Yep, and we
None of that stuff anymore, Joe. It's all electronic nowadays. Unbelievable.
we don't do the amalgam fillings either, which have the metals in them. However, as we have to replace them, we will have the amalgam separators, because if we remove other people's old metal fillings, we're going to separate that out.
When you have that, you become a very small quantity generator at that point too. So you're not into the next category by any stretch. You'd have to remove an awful lot of amalgam to get to the next quantity.
Right.
You know, you're talking grams.
Yes. Yes. Very small.
Yeah. Okay. Very good.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah.
Now, it was referenced that we would be coming back for a second meeting. Would it be helpful to indicate the building signage that has been, at least schematically discussed at that time as well?
Yeah, you don't have any building signage yet?
We have some, not in, elevation detail, but,
Okay.
we
Yeah, that would
have
be
done some study with some of the logo and artwork that the owner would use for his business.
that would be a perfect time to do it. You're allowed one roadside 64 square feet.
Yep.
And you're allowed 64 square feet on the building, up to 4 signs, all external illumination, and that's about it.
Yeah, no, we were working within those parameters.
Yeah.
We have a roadside sign location proposed at the edge of the parking lot. 20 feet from the Russell Street right away.
That's good.
No, I think that the comment on the, we misinterpreted perhaps the provision of trying to hold the parking further away on East Street than we are showing. And I think the pedestrian access, admittedly, I was surprised to see the sidewalk along Russell. But that is something that we didn't take into account as a possible access route on that west end of the building. So we will take that into account.
Yeah, I actually couldn't remember a sidewalk going down East Street either, but I checked Google Maps and you
Yeah.
are right.
Yeah.
All right.
No, that was there. So it actually stops right at the property line of this parcel, so.
Hmm.
It doesn't extend far, but it does go.
No. Oh. All right.
And since we do have some of that information, what would be the first opportunity? The reason being that the season is changing and if there's a possibility of getting foundation work done and so forth. We have had some preliminary discussions with the building department. We have had reviews with historical. We have also a situation where the widening of Russell has created a physical difficulty in that a portion of the existing structure is actually in the right of way. And also the grading that occurs there relative to the existing grade and foundation of the current building is somewhat subject to some issues or problems, which are unfortunately inherited by the owner. So the sooner we can move to remedy those, we would prefer to do that.
Okay. As far as the next available date would be
Was that October 15th or?
October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
However, as far as demolition of the existing property, you could start that as soon as you could get a demolition permit. You don't need site plan approval or this building approved to do that.
Okay, well, I had assumed that, and I had written a letter to the building department, and he was passing it amongst the various boards and authorities, and we did have a verbal that we could proceed. I was just making a point of that, you know, we would like to remedy the exposure to liability for the owner as quickly as possible.
Right.
So the
So we-
15th is the next available. We do have two other public hearings scheduled. I'm not sure that either of them will be lengthy, but it could make for a longer evening.
Well, I think that, I'll speak out of turn. Keith can certainly chime in that some of the adjustments are, realistic and reasonably quick to represent.
Yes, we can make adjustments to the plan and meet the October 15th meeting easily.
Then we will be seeing you then. All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank
And
you.
we would just continue it then, right? There's no re-advertising or anything?
No, it's just a continuance.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's one of the quirks of the public meeting notice that we advertise it once. We do not have to advertise the continuation. So as something goes on for 2, 3, 4 meetings, is sometimes it's all in the agenda, but unless someone goes looking for it, they're not going to find it.
Right.
And unless even when it's a contentious hearing, and we do have some of those once in a while, but, you know, if let's say Mr. Cyrus Safi was to come back to us and say, well, we can't make October 15th. Typically, I will notify the abutters that show up at the hearing because I know they're very interested that we've continued it to another date so that they don't show up and waste their time. We've done that a few times with those kinds of hearings.
Out of courtesy, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Okay. We got a few bills to pay. We have one for zone public hearings for $805.88.
805.88.
Correct.
And we combine them all or?
No, let's do it
Should on
separately.
each.
Easier, because otherwise it's gonna get too confusing.
I'll make a motion to pay the Gazette 805.88.
I would second that.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Done, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Walter, bye.
Roddick, aye.
Motion passes 5-0. We have another one for another Gazette invoice for $520.68. That's for the public hearings for the 0 Point definitive subdivision and the 139 home occupation of the lady that was on earlier, Miss Campbell, for the 1015. That was 520.68.
I'll make a motion to pay the Gazette $520.68.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Dunn, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Max Samaski, aye.
Waldrop, aye.
Zagradnik, aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Thank you. You need any stamps, Mr. Dwyer?
No.
Okay. I would have a request to buy 300 stamps. I almost croaked when I saw what the price is nowadays, 73 cents per stamp. I'd like
Really?
300 stamps at the $219 to the postmaster.
I'll make a motion to pay USPS. How much was that?
219.
$219.
I'm not gonna second that. All right, all right. I remember when they were 45 cents.
I remember when they were a nickel when I was a kid. Anyways, have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Roll call vote.
Dunn, aye.
Dwyer, aye.
Max Samaski, aye.
Waldrop, aye.
Zagradnik, aye.
Motion
Do I have to
passes
recuse
5-0.
because I used to
Very
work?
much.
Do I need to recuse because I used to work for the postal service?
Oh,
Did I need to?
Only current or within the past year.
Okay.
I didn't know we use stamps anymore.
Just
Yeah.
before we adjourn,
whoa, we got more to go,
We
Joe.
got more to go.
well,
Okay, you go ahead.
well, I was gonna make a comment about the signs, the fact that signs now, to Matt, that with the relocation of Route 9, everybody has to relocate their signs, so that's been kind of filling the agenda, and it usually is not that popular. But nevertheless, people always want a bigger sign, and I used to have a comment, Zares, Almies, Wolco's, signs on top of roofs, blinking signs, all these big signs help their business because they are all gone now. So, but so much.
We have 3 zone bylaw proposals, right?
ADU and what was the other one? Our
Oh, wait a minute.
code.
Let me call them up. I don't want to shoot from the hip here.
What's that manual that Kyle's been working on?
You have the first one, which is deleting section 1716 in its entirety. That's something that references the rate of growth bylaw that has long since not been in effect. That's just a housekeeping item. Then we have one about amending section 27, senior housing overlay district. And that is the one that is at the request of the zone map and overlay district for the senior housing to add the section that Tom Reedy requested for his client, Barry Roberts, at the last meeting. If you remember, that's the basically Russell Street, North Maple Street, Rocky Hill Road, and 116, that big rectangular area. They have intentions of putting senior housing overlay at what they call the BAB property, which is along the Rocky Hill Road section.
Yeah.
And then the last one is to amend the accessory apartments bylaw to make it comply with the latest accessory dwelling unit that the state has passed and is running into all kinds of confusions with multiple boards and everything else across various towns for what it changes and what it entails, and people are having heart attacks when they find out what it costs them to convert a garage to an accessory dwelling unit.
No, I did send around this afternoon. I got a reply from the Board of Health. And apparently there are no corresponding changes to Title V. So every new unit that is on septic will have to comply with Title V as it now reads.
Right, so if you have a house that was built in 1950, I'm just using this as an example, and you have a septic system that's 70 years old, and you want to add an accessory dwelling unit and you have enough of property, you need to bring your septic system up to the latest Title V code, which more than likely entails a new leach field and a new septic tank.
If you have a septic system that was designed for a 3-bedroom house and you want to add an accessory unit with only 1 bedroom, you have to enlarge the system accordingly to a 4-bedroom standard. Or create an entire separate septic system for the new ADU.
Yes. You know,
I didn't,
the state, like I believe I said this at one of the meetings, or others have said it. You've got 2 different factions of the state. One that wants to make housing affordable, which is wonderful, and one that wants to create this green stuff to make energy more efficient, and that's also wonderful. However, the one to make things more green and energy efficient, et cetera, add significant costs to housing. And that's a fact, and I'll leave it at that.
Bill, you mentioned the Board of Health. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think he clarified on whether it's a attached or detached unit, how that would affect the septic. He just kept saying Title V hasn't changed.
Right. I think as I read it, I thought that if you could connect a new structure and a detached accessory to your existing septic system if it has the capacity.
Right. Yeah, you can. But the thing is, you can't, from according to what the plumbing inspector and the building inspector told me, and I'm only going by their talks, not as any kind of factual things here, but if you want to tie an accessory structure septic system into the septic system of the main dwelling, you need to go into the house and tie into the system there. You can't tee into the line outside the house. Okay. Or like Bill said, you could put it in its own septic system.
So there could be
that would be a cost benefit versus for the homeowner that would have to make that.
You're right, and that's not only the leach field, but the tank. Sometimes the tank may be 1,000, we'll have to go for 1,015, or maybe to, even larger, so that's.
So, is there any comments on the various proposed amendments? Right now, they're gonna be on the agenda for the fall town meeting.
We have so a couple of update there. We'll be having our public hearing on these at our next meeting on October 1.
No, the zone public hearings will be on 10/15.
The public hearing on the zoning article will be the
10/1. I'm sorry, you're right, Bill. 10/1. 10/1 for the zoning article.
just for the zoning article.
Yes, I'm sorry.
There is an item on the select board agenda for tomorrow night to change the town meeting date to either the 7th or the 14th of November. Apparently there are enough unresolved questions that make it tight to do it.
The public hearing on the 10/1, like Bill says, and if there is any changes to particularly the accessory apartment bylaw, let me know. We can talk about it at that time.
Yeah, if you go through it before then and see anything, just again, be careful. Direct any comments only to Jim.
Yes.
And I'm sure if we've spot typos, he'll correct them. And if there's something we want to talk about, we can take it up at the public hearing.
Right.
We did get that written complaint, if you will, about Ideal Movers. Gentleman did request a response. Matt, I may not have sent that to you. Basically, someone wrote into the general town mailbox to say, terrible idea to put stuff at storage where it is blocking the view from the bike path, and hoped someone would get back to him to explain what we were thinking. So I'm happy to do that. We don't usually get into back and forth with the general public. You know, people write a letter to the editor. We don't jump on it and come back with a response. But since he did write town hall and specifically asked for a reply, I'm inclined to reply. And I think I just say that it's been 1962. And the project was an allowed use in the district and had no dimensional variations.
Did you see Matt,
They go, like I said, Bill, all the abutters were notified, including the bike path, the state bike path people. And at the public hearing, we had several on that. Nobody mentioned any comments about anything.
Yep.
So
Just from a historical point of view, that area was a railroad siding for coal cars that would supply coal to Montgomery Roses and Butler Almonds, the two large greenhouses that were on Route 9. So that it just was not picked out of the sky. It was zoned a long time ago, and it was had a much larger industrial base than it does now.
Matt's coming back in.
Okay.
Hey guys, this is Matt. I'm sorry, I got kicked off my computer, but I'm on my phone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yep.
Okay, I apologize. Let me see if I get my video back on. Is my name showing up as my name, or is it showing up as something different?
it's your name, yeah.
Okay.
Not well.
And in your absence, we unanimously voted you the scribe.
Yeah, boy, you tell teacher to get out of the meeting. You wouldn't believe what I pointed to in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's your turn to take out the recycling.
Joe came up with an interesting point that the reason that the land south of the bike path was zoned industrial as of 1962 and was industrial before that was it was the siding for the coal cars that provided fuel for the Montgomery Rose and Butler and Ullman greenhouses, which were on where Home Depot is now and where the office building and Wendy's is now. There were two huge greenhouse complexes on each corner.
I remember Montgomery Rose. What was the other one? Butler?
Butler and Auburn. That was down where the Med Express is.
Oh, okay.
That was Butler and Ullman down there, and where the Chili's is.
Oh, it was down by the.
No, Jim. That was another one. That was Jeffrey Florist.
Oh, that's right. That was Jeffrey Florist. You're right. I'm sorry. There was
And
three.
that's where
three
Pizza
greenhouse
Hut was?
complexes.
Yeah, the Butler and Ullman was eventually became Kai's Florist. Bob Kai's from Amherst bought it at some point.
Yep.
And why so many florists? Because of our great soil?
Well, this was Jeffrey Florist was a couple of brothers that started a greenhouse business. Montgomery Rose was a gentleman from Hadley that started a greenhouse business, and Butler and Ullman had greenhouses in Northampton. I think it was Northampton, right, Joe, and Amherst?
Yes.
They had two greenhouse complexes. They were grown some in the ground and some in like trays like you'd normally grown, and they grew predominantly flowers, all of them. There wasn't vegetables, it was all flowers. Year round, and anyways, no longer.
Well, when I came on the board, it looked like we were going to turn into a recreational growing town, but I think we made the requirements onerous enough that we haven't seen a lot of that.
Okay. Anyways, it's a little bit of history. I have nothing else.
I have nothing else.
Anybody else have anything?
Negative?
Email me the Gazette invoices and I'll submit them to the accountant.
Do it again, Kayla?
Will you email me the Gazette invoices and I'll submit them to the accountant?
I will forward those to you, yes.
Great, thank you.
And the two Gazette invoices, and I will have to give you when I forward you the payment for the, what you call it? Stamps. The last time they did that, they sent the accountant sent that check right over to the town, to the post office. The post office delivered the stamp to the town hall, and it took me a couple of weeks to find out where the stamps were. So when we get the check for the stamps, if you could either hold the check, if you could request the check given to you, and then I will pick it up and go to the post office and pick up the stamps. Otherwise, things get lost in the mail, and or get lost in the process, and I have no idea when the stamps are delivered to where.
I could even just buy the stamps and then do a reimbursement.
Well, if that's okay, too, that's fine. That's easy, whatever.
Yeah, I'll just do that.
Okay.
Just keep them away from Dee Dee.
Will do.
Okay. Nothing else?
Nothing else.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Motion second? All in favor? Roll call?
Done. I and out.
Dwyer, aye.
Maximowski, aye.
Waldrop, aye.
Zagradnik, aye.
Motion passes. Meeting is history. Thank you, Kayla, and thank you, Alex. Good night, everybody.
Good night, all.